Hello guys, it's Dale here. In this video I'm going to talk about volume profile trading. Now if I had to pick one indicator to have on my charts, then it would definitely be the volume profile. It's my favorite trading tool, and in this video I'm going to show you what volume profile trading is all about and why I recommend this tool for any trader. Now if you look at the chart, you can see that I have volume profile printed in here, also in here, and what I like to do to start with is a comparison between volume profile and other volume-based indicator. The most standard volume-based indicator is up-down volume indicator, and let me load that on the chart. So if I go to indicators and find it in here, then this is the standard up-down volume indicator. Now what it shows is that it shows volumes at time. If I zoom it in a bit, for each candle there is this bar below which shows the total volumes within the candle. I'm not saying that this is not useful information, I just want to show you why I think volume profile is better. So this bar shows in this candle there were heavy volumes traded, right? If we compare it to what volume profile is showing us, then volume profile is showing us at what price level most volumes were traded. So if you look at this volume profile right here, which shows the volume distribution over this whole week, the past week, then in this previous week the heaviest volumes were traded in here. This is the place where the volume profile is the widest, around this price. And this at first sight can tell you what is the most important zone in the chart. It is the zone where the heaviest volumes were traded in the past. And this is the major distinction between this volume indicator, which shows volumes at time, and volume profile, which shows volumes at price. And as you can already tell, I'm a big fan of the volume profile, which shows volumes at price. So let's focus on that. The reason why I'm saying that volumes at price is super important information is that it is giving you sort of a third dimension into your trading. If you look at price action, you can't really tell where heavy volumes are traded, right? If you print volume profile over this area, for example, you can tell at first sight. And the reason why the heavy volume zones are so important is that those heavy volume zones show places where the big trading institutions were active. The big trading institutions like hedge funds or banks are the main players in this market and in almost any market, and they move and manipulate the prices. They have insane amounts of money they trade with, and we can track them with volume profile because volume profile shows us where they were active. Our edge here is that those big guys will never be able to hide their volumes, their trades, because as I said, they have insane amounts of money that they need to allocate in the market, and that will always show on the volume profile. So when you look at volume profile and when you see a huge heavy volume zone like this one or this one, you can tell that the smart money, the big guys or the institutions, were active there. And this is very valuable information you can work with and build your trading strategy around. Now, if you look at any volume profile, let's stick with this one. The most important zone in the volume profile is the place where the heaviest volumes were traded. In this case, it is this price level, because the volume profile is the widest in here, and it is called the point of control, POC. In this case, because this volume profile is a weekly volume profile. It shows volume distribution over the whole previous year. It is a weekly point of control. Super important zone, because the heaviest volumes throughout the whole previous week were traded there, right? This is the place where the big trading institutions were the most active, and this zone is the most important zone. But how to make money on that? Let me show you. One of my strategies is to find those heavy volume zones, ideally point of control, and wait for the price to move away from such a point of control. Like in here, the price went downwards. This tells me that the big trading institutions were accumulating their short positions in here, and when they were done, they manipulated the price into sell-off. This sell-off is telling me that big institutions were accumulating shorts here. What I do is I draw a line here and wait for the price to make a pullback to that line. When there is that pullback, chances are that the big trading institutions from here will want to defend this heavy volume zone and push the price downwards from there. So this is a resistance, and that's how you can work and trade with volume profile. There are many more trading strategies and many more ways how you can trade with profile. Let me show you some more to demonstrate this. And I'll show you on a trade we had with members in my trading course. We were looking at this strong downtrend on the euro, and when there is a trend like this, I use my flexible volume profile, which is a volume profile you can print over any area in the chart. So we look into that downtrend and look how volumes were distributed there. What definitely stands out here is this heavy volume zone within the downtrend. In this case, it was telling us that the sellers who were pushing the price downwards in this downtrend were adding to their short positions in here, and then they continued to push the price even lower. So what we did, we waited for a pullback, and when the price hit this heavy volume zone, it was short for us from here. This is another trading strategy that I like to trade with the volume profile, and I like to use this one when there's a trend like this one. Let me show you one more thing while I'm still on the euro. And the thing is that sometimes the price doesn't react to the weekly point of control or to any point of control. So if you look in here, we have this weekly volume profile with point of control in here. My strategy tells me to wait for a pullback and go long from here. The price just shot past the level. I think this was during macro news, but it doesn't really matter. The price shot past the level with no reaction at all, but still it doesn't make that point of control not a valid level. Because what you can do is you can wait for a pullback to that point of control from the other side, like this, and go short from there. In this case, it was super precise trade entry, almost exactly to the pip. Alright, so that's another way how you can use the volume profile. In this case, what happened is that the sellers were simply too strong and pushed through that point of control, which gave us the information that the sellers were aggressive and very strong and determined to push through. So you want to trade with them, right? Because they showed us that they are currently dominating the market and that they mean it because they pushed through point of control. So you want to join them. Chances are they'll want to test the point of control. Huge liquidity is usually there. So they take that liquidity and boom, push the price downwards again. So that's another way how to use the volume profile. Now let me show you some more on the ES. Quite popular market to trade with the volume profile. ES is the futures for Standard & Poor's Index 500. And in here, what I wanted to show you are two things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this weekly profile and this weekly profile into one huge 2 weeks volume profile. And this is the point of control. I'll print a line there, and from this point of control, the price went downwards and then made a pullback to that level, and boom, a reaction to the tick. All right, as you can see, the markets have very nice reactions to those point of controls and to volume profile. And the cool thing is that traders who use just price action will never be able to see this. You need to look at volumes. It's simple as that. Now there is one more example I wanted to show you on the ES, and that's a trade we had also with members of my trading course. There was this uptrend on the ES, and I used the flexible volume profile to look into the volume distribution within the uptrend. And what we traded was this significant volume cluster, which told us that the buyers who were pushing the price upwards were active here, and that most likely they are going to defend this level in the future. So we were trading pullback to that level, and boom, this was the reaction. All right, so again, we have that trend setup, which you can trade when there's a trend. Now, if you guys are wondering what time frame to use with the volume profile, it doesn't really matter actually. You can trade with any time frame you want, because the volume profile is not dependent on time. So currently we are looking at a 30-minute time frame, and look, for example, at this volume profile and its shape. All right. Now let me switch to 15-minute time frame. Let me find that profile in here. The volume profile didn't change. It's the same. It still shows the same heavy volume zones, and it looks exactly the same. Only thing that happened is we have more candles in here, but that doesn't affect volume profile in any way. I mean, it doesn't affect its shape in any way. So that's why you can trade with any time frame you want. What I prefer is use a 30-minute time frame for my intraday trading analysis. And if you are also an intraday trader, then what I recommend is daily volume profiles, which look like this. They get printed every day. I would say that this is the most standard way how to use volume profile, to use the daily profiles, which shows volume distribution every day. What I prefer is to use the weekly volume profiles, which I had here before. And the reason why I prefer those is that they show the big picture, the overview. So I'm using those, and I combine those with the flexible volume profile. That's the profile which I showed you. And with this flexible profile, I look into specific areas I'm interested in. For example, in the trend areas, like I showed you, I look for significant volume zones or volume clusters within those specific areas, like in here. This volume cluster, boom, reaction, stuff like that. I teach that in my volume profile trading course. I would say that the flexible volume profile is by far my most favorite tool, because I can look into specific zones and see how volumes were distributed there. Now, if you guys are more into long-term position trading or swing trading, then obviously you are going to use a different time frame. I prefer daily time frame. And with this setting, I recommend using monthly or yearly volume profiles. What I prefer is the yearly, which shows volume distribution over the whole year. So in this case, on the ES, most important zone in this current year is definitely here at this price level, because this is the yearly point of control, because the heaviest volumes throughout this year were traded here. Also, when I'm trading those long-term trades, I'm using the flexible volume profile to complement that yearly volume profile. So that's how I trade, what works for me, and if you want, you can do the same. Now, where to get the volume profile? As with everything, the internet is full of volume profile indicators, and the quality and the price differs. I tried lots of those, but in the end, I wasn't really satisfied. There was always something I didn't like. Either the volume profile was slow to load, it was buggy, it didn't work with all trading instruments or with all time frames. Sometimes it was too complicated to use, too clunky to use. So in the end, I decided to have my own volume profile indicator coded. That's the volume profile you can see on your screen. As you can see, it is super precise, super fast. It works with all time frames, all trading instruments. So that's what I use, and if you want, you can have my volume profile as well. If you go to my website, which is trader-dale.com, this is it. And if you click this button right here, Trading Course and Tools, you can get my volume profile indicators if you decide to join our members and get the Elite Pack. The Elite Pack consists of volume profile video course, which is 15-hour long video course on trading with volume profile. It also includes my personal trading levels or signals, which you'll be getting every day, and my custom-made volume profile indicators for various trading platforms like NinjaTrader, that's the one you saw in this video, or TradingView, or MetaTrader. All those volume profile indicators are lifetime licenses. You can have them on more computers, so there are really no limitations or any hassle with that. What we also provide for our members is free tech support, which means that our team will install all the software on your computer and you can just start using it without any setting up or reading through manuals and spending time on that. And if you guys are not ready to sign up for the course yet, if you want to learn something more about the volume profile before you jump right into it and join our course, then what I recommend is reading my volume profile book. It's free. You can download it through a link below this video, or you can actually download it from the homepage of my website. This is the homepage, and you scroll down a bit, then this is the volume profile book. Download it for free, check it out, and the ideal next best step for you is joining up our volume profile course. Alright, so that's about that. That's about the video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope that I made you excited about volume profile trading, because really volume profile is the best trading tool I ever tried, and if you haven't tried trading with that, you definitely need to give it a go. So thanks for watching the video, and I will be looking forward to seeing you next time in some next video or in our members area. So see you next time, and until then, happy trading.